Well, hello and welcome to the Work from Home Show. My name is Marion, and with me today we have Richard and Lady Lou. We're going to be talking about working from home. I want to help you find a job, create a job, or, side hustles are all the rage now, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's heard of side hustles. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Great. We're all fine, Richard. This is Richard Law. He's from Florida and he is a service field instructor. No, tell me what it is your title.
Field service inspector.
Field service inspector. And it's a fascinating thing, just what little bit I know about it. So, Richard, we welcome you to the show and we're excited to talk to you about this. So, what got you into this kind of a field?
Well, I started out as an independent contractor, like everyone does who starts out in field services. And going back actually a couple of decades, I was working for a company in Falls Church, Virginia called E-Systems, and doing some contractor work there for the Defense Department. And I decided to leave there after 5 years and just go out on my own. I had a real estate broker's license, and so I wanted to get involved with real estate. And I found that in the wintertime in Virginia, there's a lot of snow, and people aren't really looking to buy a house when there's snow on the ground. So I looked at a ad in the Washington Post, a woman in Maryland named Donna Coletta. She was looking for a field inspector in Virginia. So I started working with her, and it was pretty easy, and it was just some extra income for me. And so I learned how to do all the inspections. I also did a little bit of property preservation, and I just kept going and growing and growing my business up in Fairfax, Virginia, and it worked out very well.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic. I'm so glad that you're here today. This is the Work from Home Show. We're going to be talking about opportunities. We're going to be talking to Richard about, maybe teaching us how we can be a field service inspector. So before we do that, I want to go into a little bit about what we do here at Work from Home. So things that appeal to me may not appeal to you. So we have how many weeks now, Lady Lou, of this show?
This is 39.
39 weeks of talking about opportunities for you to work from home. Why is that important? Well, we just found out that you might get laid off unexpectedly, a world pandemic. Who knew? And we thought it might last a week, 2 weeks, and here we are, how many months later? And we're still not completely over it. And, things could happen. Several things. You could get laid off unexpectedly, or maybe you don't like your job. Maybe, like Richard, you decide you want to just hop off that train and hop on a different train. And so I want to be able to give you both jobs where you actually have to do the work that they're assigning to you. You might get some benefits. You might get, some opportunities to work for a company and climb the ladder if that's what you want. But you're going to be able to work from home because that's what we're offering here on this show, a remote either job or an opportunity to work for yourself. So that's why we talk about side hustles, and that's why we talk about creating your own business from home. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't go out into the world like what Richard's talking about here. He's going out into the world, taking pictures, filling out forms, inspecting, and then he's probably using his own computer to take that information to the person that hired him. So he gets to decide whether he wants to do that or not. If you're working a job, you probably don't get to decide. You probably have to do whatever you're told to do. And that's okay, because some people really like that. They like clocking in at a certain time and clocking out at a certain time and then leaving that behind. And I want you to know that that's okay. So the first two things that I'm going to talk about today are opportunities for you to do your own thing or work for a company, either one. The first one, I'm going to pull up a little slide here. I think it's really important to think outside the box. So this company is called GrowFlow. Now, GrowFlow is in the industry of marijuana. No, they don't call it marijuana. What do they call it? Hemp.
Hemp.
There are companies out there that are growing hemp to sell for CBD oil and things like that. And this company has many, many remote work from home jobs, and they have sales data assistants, customer activation specialists. That's a fancy name for someone to onboard a new company or new customer, a data engineer, senior data analyst. They have sales development, sales assistants, product managers, and user researchers. So feel free to reach out to GrowFlow, and all you have to do is the links are down below on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and all the podcast apps that we're on, the podcast platforms that we're on. So don't worry, you don't have to write anything down. Everything is down below. Now remember, we research every job that we bring to you so that you don't have to worry about whether or not this is a real company or a real opportunity, okay? I want you to know that. It feels very good for me to be able to do that for you, to make sure that you have what you need when you need it, and not a false promise. So the second company that I want to bring to you today is called, what is it called? Why is it? I didn't put the name of it on here, did I? It's called Study Pool. Now, this company is very interesting in that they have people that just have a talent for different things. Like, let's say, like Richard, you know all about field inspecting. You know all about it. Well, if somebody has a question about that, they're willing to pay you. Now, notice that it says earn up to $7,500 a month, but over on the right-hand side, it's showing you that there are people who are earning $494,000 a year for the highest earner. So there is opportunity, and not just for people tutoring, but also people that are answering questions. And you get, I looked into it, and it's kind of hard to describe, but basically what it is you go on there and they have an app. And when people ask a question, you get a notification if it's in the industry that you're looking for. And if you want to answer that question, it's a bidding process. You want to answer that question, then that's it. It's a question. You're going to answer it because you already know the answer. Like if you're a math tutor or you're a history buff, there's so many things. Please go and look at it. I think you're going to be quite surprised and very happy that you did. Because everybody knows something about something, right?
That's right. We all do.
Everybody's an expert.
Mm-hmm. We do.
Doesn't that sound interesting?
Lovely.
It does. I like the one with the cannabis.
Yeah. Well, me too.
I want to grow it.
Yeah, let me support them because that's cool.
I've never used it, but I might smoke more than I produced or sold. I wouldn't be good for the company, probably.
Test it out to make sure it's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
This stuff is really strong. We'll put extra duty over here.
Now, Marion, you said you check out every company. How did you check out the cannabis company?
I do my research online, Richard. I did not smoke any. I did not visit any of the farms, but that doesn't mean I won't.
Okay. Everything said here is the truth, right?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the best of our knowledge.
One of the things that I do is I go to glassdoor.com. And even though I don't have a graphic to put up here for you, if you just go to glassdoor.com, you're going to see that you can put in the search bar remote. And it'll say jobs or companies. There's a lot of different things that you could search for besides jobs. You could search for a company. And it gives you the amount of money that people are reporting that they're getting. Okay, so that's one way that I research is to go to Glassdoor because former employees, and it is anonymous. Glassdoor knows who you are, but they're not going to tell the general public that, it's you. So if you still are working for the company, you can still report that you're making this amount of money. It's pretty interesting. Glassdoor.com, I highly recommend it. And you can go to Glassdoor and do a search for remote jobs, and thousands come up, thousands. And it tells you how much they're going to pay you there. Not from the company, but from people who are working there or have worked there in the past. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've used Glassdoor before myself, looking at companies. If you're an independent contractor and a company wants to hire you, it's a good idea to go up to Glassdoor and read the reviews from their employees. And if the employees don't like the company and you're an independent contractor, you're not going to like the company either. So Glassdoor is a good place to do some research, as you said.
Yes,
Perfect.
I agree with that. I love Glassdoor. I think whoever invented it was really something special. Now, before we turn it over to Richard and drill him for every question we can possibly think of for field service inspector, I want to tell you about one more, and we're going to go over this next week. But there is a company out there called Profit Factory, and you can go to profitfactory.com. I don't have any more information for you right now, but I think if you're really serious about getting a job today, you might want to look into it if you're thinking about like virtual assistant type of work, like typing and virtual assistant type work. So go check that out, and we'll talk more about it next week.
Good.
Now, we're going to drill you, Richard.
Yeah, I'm starting to sweat already.
I know. I am too, just thinking about it. I am very, very excited to bring this to our work from home audience because I think it's something that a lot of people would be interested in, but like Lady Lou, she's never heard of it before. Most people have never heard of this. Start off by telling us, what is it?
Well, field services is where you're actually the eyes and the ears for a company. They want you to go out and look at something, examine something, and report your observations back. Some of the more interesting ones that I've done is when I lived up in Fairfax, Virginia, there was a Washington Ferrari dealership out in Sterling, Virginia. And sometimes someone's going to be buying a used Ferrari, and they just want someone to go out to the dealership and take some photos of it and get some of the, the specifications on it. Does it have any extra gauges inside? What kind of wheels does it have? That type of information. So I would usually go out to the Ferrari dealership out there probably not too many times, maybe 3 times a month, and go out there and I talk to the same salesman usually each time. And we'd look at the car, and I would take photographs of the all sides of the car, the interior. We would go through the different wheel sizes and engine size and all those specs, and the dealer would just read them off to me, and I'd check a block. So I didn't need to know much about cars. They would have to start it. They would be asked to start it, and you didn't look at the engine. You looked at it, you took a picture of it, but you didn't listen for knocks. You didn't look for leaking oil. You didn't look for any of those things. It was pretty straightforward. And those were interesting inspections. I can say that I've actually sat in a $400,000 Ferrari. And it was very nice.
Take a picture of me in here, please.
Yeah. In fact, I went out there one time after I'd been doing it for a couple of years and held up the checklist and said, hey, things have changed a little bit here on this checklist. Now they want me to take the vehicle out and drive it for 72 hours.
72.
And he looked at me and he says, there's no way, I was kidding with him. He says, there's no way that you're going to take this car out of the showroom here.
Oh, you had it going, Richard.
But that would have been nice if they'd allowed it. I'd have to up my insurance with USAA for sure.
I'd have to learn how to do a stick shift.
Yeah, well, now a lot of them are automatic,
Oh, they are?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
A sports car that's automatic. That's my speed.
And Mustangs are now, they have the electric Mustangs out, all electric. So things are changing.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But
I
that's just
love
one type inspection. There's many other inspections, and almost all the ones you get are what you call entry level. The company is going to provide the inspection form. There's nothing that has to be created. And then they're probably going to spend maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes with you on a telephone and just walk you through an inspection of what needs to be done. If there's photos, what kind of photos what of. And so they're pretty straightforward. And I can, I can go back and cover some more different type inspections if you want. We have some time.
Yeah, because basically, if you're a newbie, they tell you, well, I need to know a checklist. So all you do is take your checklist with you. Is that how it works?
Yes, yeah, pretty much so.
And a camera or your phone.
I'll give you another example, a quick one. Culpeper, Virginia, they wanted me to do a business verification on a cardiovascular clinic. And the clinic was hiring nurses, okay? And as part of their hiring process, they were doing background checks on the nurses. And so the company that hired me was the company that was going to provide those background checks. And they wanted me to make sure the company was, in fact, the cardiovascular clinic, and that they had a place to lock up this, very sensitive data that they got. And so I went there. I was on the way to town anyways. I took a picture of the sign out front. It said Cardiovascular Clinic, Blue Ridge, right near the hospital. Took a picture of the address. So that was photo number 2. I'd called before I went and talked to the administrator and asked them to show me the container they were going to lock this background information in. And it was a file cabinet. And then I had them show the key in the file cabinet that he could lock it. And I took a picture of that. The business license was on the wall. I took a picture of that. So that was 4 photos. 4 photos, yeah. And then I walked, I said, do you have an empty examining room? And he said, yes. And we walked down there. And I took a picture of that. It looked like a hospital or a clinic examining room with the long table with the paper on top and the EKG machine. So took a picture of that, and I was done. Okay. And that took about 10 minutes with him, and I paid $35. And I was on my way to town anyways, and so I just stopped by there on the way to town. And that's the inspections are fairly straightforward and easy. A lot of them are just very much common sense.
Oh, yeah. So what's a basic pay? You said $35 for 10 minutes. That's pretty good pay. What's the top pay that you've ever gotten for an inspection?
Well, here's the thing with inspections is what you do is you have a window. Usually there's probably common 3 to 5 days. So if you get an inspection, you don't necessarily go out and do it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You wait until you get some more in that same area. And then you take and batch them up so that when you're going out, you're doing 3, 4, 5, 6 inspections in the same area. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you're someone like a notary signing agent who's going out to do a notary signing in the afternoon, and you can do some inspections maybe on the way there, on the way back from that notary signing. Or you're a real estate broker or realtor or appraiser or process server or Lyft driver, whatever. You're kind of out running around.
Yeah.
And the more things you can do in a small area, the more efficient you are and the more money you make. And the inspections are interesting. You see a lot of different things in life. You sit in a Ferrari, you get a chance to maybe ask for some medical device when you're in that cardiovascular clinic there, maybe have them check your heart while you're there.
There you go. So is there a license that you have to get with a state, or how does that work?
Well, that's the nice thing about it. In all the states, there is no licensing requirement, okay? With the companies that we work with, there are no business insurance requirements, okay? The companies that we work with will require a background check, but they won't require the inspector to pay a fee for that background check. And, and like I say, it's pretty straightforward. Now, you can get more and more advanced training, and I'm talking about something like commercial insurance loss control, where maybe you're looking at commercial cooking equipment and fire sprinkler systems. And in that case, you need to do get some advanced training, and that's something you don't do on day one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's day 270 where you get some training and get involved with that. But starting out, you're going to do the easy to do things, and move to advanced things later on if you want to. Yes.
Yeah. So common sense is the answer. If you got common sense, you can do this.
Yes, you have to be a good observer and take note of things, but most people are.
Yeah. And enjoy people. I know that's a biggie. Some people don't want to leave the house. They want to work in the house or in a room and not be disturbed by people. But if you're a people person in particular and love to go places, I used to travel when I was in sales. I loved it. So this would be an ideal job for someone with an adventurous heart.
It is, and you want to get connected with the right companies, and those companies are pretty much the commercial and the insurance segment. The other segment of the industry is the mortgage segment.
Oh.
And but we don't get involved with that too much, just because the fees are so low. Mortgage inspectors are out there doing mortgage inspections for $3-4. They'll get a lot of them, and a lot of people do them even full time, but they're only getting $3 or $4. But the startup is they have to pay about $1,500 a year for insurance. They have to pay for their own background checks. The fees are not very good, and I think some of the work is very dangerous, because especially during this pandemic, they want you knocking on doors and talking to people that are behind on their mortgage inspections. They want you to go in backyards to take photographs of the back of the house, and that's something you don't want to do, even without a pandemic. But so we don't get involved with that part of the industry. We stay away from it.
Mortgage inspector, forget it.
Mortgage inspections, yeah. And like I say, like you do, with the filtering of who you're sponsoring and who you're recommending, we do the same thing. There's about 100 companies that are listed in our National Field Service Directory, and there's probably more than 100 that are not. And the reason some companies are not listed with us is because we don't want to list them. They're just not very good companies. Either they don't pay much, or people have had problems with them in the past. And so our goal is to kind of get people, started with the right companies like you are.
Yes,
to,
the 4 and 5
to make
star
sure,
companies.
Yeah, to make sure they get a good ride, so to speak.
Yeah.
Karen has a question here. She says, do the companies give you the documents to use to do your inspection?
Yeah, there's an inspection form for just about every inspection out there. So they provide that to you. And like I say, they'll work with you to make sure you understand what's required. Because you're doing the work for them, they want you to do a great job.
Sure. You don't want to have to go back.
Yeah. And then we provide to the inspectors what we call inspection descriptions. And we describe the most common inspections that are out there and what they're all about and why they're performed and what they pay, the pay range. So that kind of gives you an idea of what to expect, okay?
So Richard, what you're describing to me sounds like a service. Do you charge for this service?
Well, the nice thing about it is membership with Sophie is free. There's no charge for either the field reps or the companies. And we have companies that advertise with us, and the inspectors are certainly welcome to email them, chat with them, sign up with them. We do have a National Field Service Directory, a paper directory, which we mail out. And like I say, that lists about 100 of the national and regional companies that service their area. and it's paper, and of course we have costs to print it and everything.
Mhm.
And we also design a lot of resumes. We design those for both field inspectors, and more recently, we've had a lot of the notary signing agents come to us and ask us to design a resume for them. And a lot of the notary signing agents have also gotten involved doing the field inspections. And a lot of the field inspectors have gotten involved doing the notary signings. So kind of the more things you can do in a small area, the better you are. And I remember back in the 2008 recession that the people that seemed to be doing the best had 2, 3, maybe even 4 part-time jobs, which they kind of all fit together to create a full-time job. And that recession we had back then just didn't affect them that much because they kind of had a backup to the backup to the backup to the backup. And when you're self-employed, you need a lot of backup plans because who knows what's going to happen, in
Yeah.
2021 or 2027 or whatever.
Yeah, you don't want to
Richard-
put all your eggs in one basket.
Isn't that
That's
the
right.
truth? Yes. And I don't want to interrupt, but I just want people to know, if they've never heard of Sophie before, what you're talking about. So on the bottom of the screen, I'm showing your information. So your phone number, your cell phone number, your email, your website is 13easysteps.com, and you have a Vimeo account. So what is Sophie? That is not listed there.
Well, Sophie is, if you go up to the website at fieldinspector.com, and that's a very popular domain. We've been asked several times to sell it to companies, and we've refused. But fieldinspector.com is for field inspectors. And we have a lot of information up there on how to get started, both some hiring firms, some YouTube videos. We have a YouTube channel that's listed up there. We have a Sophie University, which has audios and help documents and videos on the industry. We have we show a lot of the resumes that we've created up there for both inspectors and notary signing agents. So there's just a lot of information up there to kind of help you get started.
Wow.
There's also a link to sign up. Like say membership is free.
Mhm.
And we're there to help people out. We answer our phone and we just kind of, make sure people feel comfortable before they, even get started.
Right. So as I understand it, then there's no licensing in the States generally, and that you do need to get insurance. Now, is it like being bonded? Is that the kind of insurance you're talking about?
No, it's for the commercial and the insurance inspections. They don't require anything like an E&O insurance or a liability insurance.
Oh,
But like I say, if you get over on the mortgage side, the kind of the problem side, low
Mortgage
fee
side.
side, they do require insurance.
Yeah, we don't want them.
Yeah. But
We want the easier one that, doesn't require any insurance. Oh yeah,
yeah.
mortgage.
and
Wow. It's just amazing then. You've got almost anything you can imagine that needs a field inspector,
yeah,
and you can pick and choose your job. Is that what you're saying?
pretty much you find what it's life is all about finding the things you like
Yes.
and getting more, and finding the things you don't like and avoiding it. And you can use that in your personal life, your business life, or whatever. It works all the time.
I love that.
A lot of people don't learn from their mistakes. And
Isn't that the truth?
Oh my.
there's a company there in Houston called Douglas Guardian. They do collateral inspections.
Oh.
They actually will hire people as employees. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
And not necessarily full-time employees, but a part-time employee. And they do what's called collateral inspections or floor plan inspections.
Uh-huh.
An example is you might go to a music store and see what products that they've got out on consignment there.
Mhm.
You might go to a John Deere dealership and looking at what they have on the floor as far as inventory on tractors and mowers. The same thing with outdoor power equipment, chainsaws, weed whackers. I used to go to a Leesburg dealership in Virginia that had construction equipment there. And all I had to do was go and look for serial numbers on different pieces of construction equipment, and then pick off the number of hours that were on the equipment. Most of them had 0 hours. Oh. And if there was something not on my list, I would ask the question, where is it? And they would say, it's maybe out on consignment. Someone's testing it out. And I asked for a piece of paper showing who was testing it and how long they've had it. I've done boats, boat dealerships, looking at boats and outboard motors. And these are called floor plan inspections or collateral inspections. They just want to make sure that all those John Deere tractors have not gone to Brazil. and no one's been told.
Yeah, that happens.
So you're just checking honesty, I guess.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to this job. I mean, it's a heaven for people who love variety.
That would be me, okay?
And me.
I'm very interested, and I can't wait to get started. And I filled out my form, and I got to one of the reasons why it's so important to know people like you, Richard, is because I didn't know how to answer some of the questions. Like, what am I interested in? Well, I don't know what's available. I mean, it was a hard thing for me to fill out because I didn't understand what it was that I'd be doing. So I'm really eager to go to your website, which is
fieldinspector.com.
That's it.
Fieldinspector.com. Mm-hmm. And that takes you to the SOFI. That's yes. What you were talking about earlier, right. SOFI. I'm sure that has something to do with field inspections. And you said you have a list of companies and you have information there. You might have some ebooks, it looks like, that where people can really learn more about what this is. We can't possibly cover it all in a 30-minute show, but I did want to introduce it to our audience. And Richard, is there anything that you would like that we didn't ask you that you really need to let our audience know before we leave?
Well, I would just say your best bet is just to kind of, do your research, like you said, and just kind of investigate. You can go up to fieldinspector.com and you'll see a lot of information up there you can read. We have products up at the SOFI store that you can purchase to make that easier for a startup.
Oh, wow.
Everything that we offer has a satisfaction guarantee. And we're also rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Okay. And we're not afraid to answer our phone. Call us and, we'll be happy to talk to you. If you miss us, we do have to brush our teeth, take bathroom breaks, and eat from time to time. So if you miss us, leave a message. Yeah. And we'll call you back. Oh. And like I say, it's a nice place to be in. You can do it part-time. You can do it full-time. Oh. It's easier full-time when you're in Houston rather than, say, Brownsville. Brownsville, it's less people, less traffic.
Yes.
So wherever you have a lot of people, a lot of traffic, that's where the inspections are.
Where you want to be.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been just fantastic. And we've, of course, gone overtime, but we knew we would because this is such a fascinating topic. So, Richard, would you like to come back again in the new year?
Sure, we can do that.
Oh, I'd love to have you back because I think more people need to know about this because there are so many of us who don't want a 9-to-5. We want something where we can get out in the sunshine, go places, meet new people, and have some fun. And this would just be the perfect type of thing for us. I mean, I'm too old now, but I would have loved to have done this when I was younger.
Yeah, but you get a lot of people doing it. You get pastors doing it, realtors, appraisers, process servers, Uber drivers, people doing that in addition to something else. I even had one time a Secret Service officer that He didn't. He worked, a couple days a week for the Secret Service in D.C., and he was looking for some extra stuff to do.
Perfect.
And so,
Wow.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Lady Lowe. This has been a
Thank you.
fantastic opportunity.
It has.
Remember that all the information that we talked about today is going to be in the description down below. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and now all the podcast platforms that you could possibly imagine. And so we're looking forward to even more. We've got some great and fantastic things coming up in 2021. So stay tuned.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you, Lady Lowe. Bye, Richard.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, Richard. We appreciate you very much.
and thank you, ladies.